How's it going, y'all? Dev here. Now, as a small-town southern amateur VA, I must say that seeing a dock on a fellow VA is like trying to find a constellation in the sky. It's not that hard, you just gotta be in the right place at the right time. However, I didn't need to do any of this at all, as the dock got dropped right into a Discord server I just so happened to be in with this individual. Stating the obvious here before we begin, do not interact with or harass anybody mentioned in this document if you so happen to know them. For those who need trigger warnings, this document will be discussing acts of sexual degeneracy, grooming, diapers, and mentions of suicide. As this is a pretty mood-killing thing to be reading alone, I will be interjecting a lot with my own commentary regarding the author, Gokai, and general topics related to the document. If at certain points you find yourself disturbed during this video, I encourage you to go take a break, get a snack, maybe do something you like for a minute, play a game. Or maybe you're playing a game already. I don't blame you. I'm playing Fortnite for this entire video. Just do something that will ease you and then come back when you're ready. It's alright. I'll always be here for you. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. This document is regarding recent events relating to Connor Terrell, who alternatively goes by GokaiBlue16 online. Connor is a voice actor known for portraying Sonic the Hedgehog and other characters from the Sonic IP online in fan projects, media, and otherwise. He was previously exposed in a document written in 2022 for interacting in a strange manner, to say the least, with a minor, 16 years of age, on call while being about 25 years old at the time. He is currently 28. And then it links to another document which we'll probably go into much later, depending on how I feel. I don't really know. This is very old. The document above accuses Connor of grooming this minor, which was a topic of dispute. While what he did on that call is certainly alarming and definitely strange and extremely unprofessional, considering the details of the case, and it seeming to be an isolated instance with nothing actually explicit being said, such as ERP or otherwise not safe for work topics being discussed, it was rather difficult to safely and confidently use that loaded term, which deserves to be used in the utmost proper manner, when referring to this situation in particular. We also found no record of him actively approaching this person for a romantic relationship outside of weird comments that he made in an improv session, that were never, to our knowledge, pursued further. He defended it by portraying it all as something that occurred due to his ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and his inability to grasp social cues among other things. The aforementioned doc also included general gripes with him rather than focusing on this very serious and damning accusation. This led to it being questioned in terms of its authenticity as a call-out rather than a smear campaign, as Connor had been rather notoriously hated for various reasons, many of which we know now are more than valid, by those behind this campaign, which he also used to his defense, labeling it all a smear. Thus, he was able to, while taking some blows in other respects, hold on to his personal projects and otherwise continue his voice work elsewhere. Whilst in this document, we will not be accusing Connor of grooming or anything concrete in terms of sexual crimes, we believe that what we will come to show you should be more than enough to convince you he should not be interacting in communities with minors regardless, especially in lieu of what happened prior combined with the current information that we are to reveal herein. God damn it, you pretentious asshole. Just f***ing write normal words, dude. Like, I get it, this is a serious situation, but you don't need to write like you're like an FBI informant or something. Especially in lieu of what happened prior combined with the current information that we are to reveal herein. Jesus Christ, man. First chapter, diaper fetishization and age play filth. It is now known with certainty that Connor engages in the act of age play, specifically age regression, which is where someone pretends to be much younger than they usually are for gratification. It seems he is more infatuated, more particularly with the infant to toddler demographic, and role plays within that range. We first found out about this through testimony, but obviously as testimony can be hearsay when it has nothing backing it up, whilst we took it seriously, we did not have enough to confront him at the time, we felt. In the meantime, I, the author of this document, okay buddy, decided to do some digging. All I did was take his known username, that being GokaiBlue16, and put it in a Google search, demarking it with quotation marks to search for the exact string. Shut the f*** up. I did some digging. I looked up his username online. Just write it out. What we found as a result was shocking. Okay, so there's quotations, but alright, that's just the actual guy, his Facebook. He's got a fanfic account, a Wikimedia account, I guess. I don't know what he's doing with it. And a Personality Forge account, which, I guess is, it says right here. As you can see in the above screenshot, we found a profile for a website called PersonalityForge.com. This website has an interesting history as it was used as a chatbot website prior to the modern proper AI chatbots we see today, such as ChatGPT or Character AI, for instance. This is relevant to what we go on to find, so allow us to briefly explain how these archaic chatbots work. Chatbots prior to the 2020s did, for obvious reasons, not utilize AI in the proper sense as we know it today. Whereas today, to train a chatbot, you have to feed an AI input data, to which an LLM, large language model, will process and gradually produce dynamic output based on that data. Chatbots on the early internet were manually, and pretty gruelingly, programmed to respond to user input based on searching for strings and responding with whatever was stored relating to that string. So for instance, let's use an example relevant to this case. Let's say you're talking to MommyBot. You type in the phrase, change my wet diaper. Mommy sees the part of the string you typed wet diaper and responds accordingly with, uh-oh, looks like someone has a wet diaper. Yes, this is a real response, and yes, I'm extremely sorry you were forced to read that. Thanks, asshole. That response was literally manually pre-written out by whoever authored the bot. In this situation, it's Connor Terrell, and it will repeatedly be triggered each time the bot detects the input wet diaper coming from the user. I've simplified a good bit to explain some of this stuff, but you get the gist. Connor had to manually write all of these responses out, and when we get into what the responses in bots look like, you'll understand why we felt it was necessary to write all of this. First, the 3 bots on the profile. Okay, so it starts off with I think this is like the actual, okay, it's actual. They actually made MommyBot, no fucking way. Oh, it's rated T for teen, alright. The first 2, Mighty Atom and MommyBot, are the topics of concern here, as the third bot does not contain, from what we tested, anything that triggers stuff related to Connor's fetish. Yeah, because it's Goku, it's not gonna do anything. From here, I'll be simply showing screenshots and offering limited commentary demonstrating the level of depravity we're talking about. We'll start with the most egregious, MommyBot. This response demonstrates the trigger words that prompt specific responses from the bot, ranging from crying to wet diaper. The trigger word diapers prompts this response. Alright, so guess is just writing out diapers regularly. And MommyBot's showing up and saying, how sweet. What kind of game are you playing to play with diapers? Are you pretending to be a parent taking care of a little one? Guess responds yes. So MommyBot's all like, how lovely. How old is the little one you're taking care of? What activities do you enjoy doing together? Note the how old is the little one? Disgusting. I don't know why the doc author decided to put emphasis on how old is the little one when MommyBot straight up says, what kind of game are you planning to play with diapers? Like, why are we focusing on the age bit here that sounds like a completely normal question and not the big diaper wearing elephant in the room here? Like, what what is going on? Sometimes the bot will ask for an age unprompted. MommyBot's back again, showing up with, hello, I'm your mommy in this roleplay. First off, how old are you playing? Okay, 4 years or months? Years. Notice the years or months questions. Yeah, we couldn't believe it either. So now it's going from like super duper professional to like snarky comments. I can't really understand the tone that the author's trying to get this in, but I do like not having to read Lou or aforementioned. It gets worse. The bot will actually try to age you even further down. This is right after the previous response. No, the number was not 4. Is there anything else I can help you with today? So going back to 2. A little toddler? Potty trained or no? I just saw some of the others. Oh, fucking Christ. Okay, again with the potty trained and speaking about the toddler demographic, I hope you're... Yeah, I'm already disgusted, okay. Here's a collection of other responses based on the trigger words wet diaper, crying, etc. Guest is saying, I'm a good boy. MommyBot's, I'll remember you're a good boy, sweetie. Okay. Oopsie, looks like someone made pee-pee. Asterisks changes you, asterisks. Uh-oh, looks like someone has a wet diaper. Asterisks carries you to the changing table, asterisks. Asterisks removes your diaper. This is probably the most egregious response of all we received from the bot. Okay, what is it? Uh-oh, asterisks giggles, asterisks serves me right for leaving you naked. I think this is beyond enough to show this. Yeah, nope. This is for sexual gratification. No, author is right. 100%. Jesus fucking Christ. I was defending it a little because fucking earlier it was just like, hold on, it was, how old is the little one you're taking care of? Like, that's fine. Like, that is just, I could see that being like an actual thing somebody says, you know? Because it's a normal thing to ask. But like, Jesus Christ, man. God. Okay, so now we're going on to the next bot. The next bot is seemingly unrelated, but can also be triggered into the same weird roleplay stuff similarly to the last one. This one is based on Astro Boy / Adam, who is from the world-famous manga Tetsuwan Atamu. Adam is canonically 9 years old biologically. He also clearly resembles a male child despite being a robot. Here are some responses. Oh, getting all fancy. Here are some responses. Get some fucking, Dateline NBC, To Catch a Predator, like, techno music in the background. Alright, so Mighty Adam starts off with a hi there. Guest, I'm a baby. Mighty Adam asterisks poofs into a 2-year-old and starts crying asterisks. How the fuck is this? What? Okay, I'm reading more into the screenshots. Mighty Adam asterisks giggles, you're funny. A guest responds with diaper. Mighty Adam's all diaper. I'm not a baby, unless that's what you want me to be. Now, let's think critically for a moment. If it's all just harmless roleplay, why is it obsessively included in a bot that A, is a small male child, and B, seemingly unrelated to the roleplay, unlike Mommy Bot? Either way, it's disturbing no matter how many hoops you want to jump through to defend it. But it gets worse. No, it does not get worse. No, it does not. No way. No fucking way. How does it get worse? We're gonna find out in a minute. Oh boy. Chapter 2, Connor's access to minors and history of roleplay with minors. Jesus. Okay. Now, just to preface this section, we will once again remind everyone that we are not accusing Connor necessarily of grooming or any sexual crimes here. However, it is also not impossible, dare we say, nor improbable, that he has gone on to do something more than just what he showcases here. But that leans into speculation. Nonetheless, we feel someone with these sorts of inclinations should not be around or working with minors as Connor has. Many can attest that when they met Connor, they were minors. I, as the author of this document, can also attest as much. Being 15 at the time I met Connor, he would often make jokes about diapers and his fetish and hide it being for comedy. At the time, we all believed him. We didn't know what we know now. Not only would he make those veiled jokes, he would also roleplay as the son of so-and-so and call female VAs his mom and some younger male VAs his son. You can also find much of this in the previous document that we linked at the beginning of this document. He did this in places that were mainly made up of minors as well, such as Amino. Ooh. Wait, is Amino shut down? No fucking way. And would force it into his comedy with other people. We have reason to believe in light of what we know now that this was him including his fetish for self-gratification. However, even after that doc was released and he was called out, he did not stop this behavior. We can find that even up to 2024, there were minors under his TikTok at Sonic Plush Reacts, indicating that we're partaking in that roleplay with him on platforms like VRChat. Side note, the TikTok channel is a bit of a rabbit hole in and of itself. On it, Connor uses a Sonic plush and roleplays as Sonic. However, he refers to himself, i.e. the real Connor, not the plush he's acting as Dad. This weird fetish of his even seeps into content which is clearly made and directed towards kids. There are also videos of him approaching clearly uncomfortable, very young-looking people at conventions and asking them to partake in his TikTok videos. Take that for what you will. Also, just a general cringe fest.
Me? Really? Come on. I mean, I know I put on a few pounds since COVID, but how am I creepy?
Pulled you over?
'Cause I was speeding?
No, 'cause you're black.
How did they get away with that? I mean, honestly, it has the same energy as this. Hey there, Sonic Crew. Just chilling with my new best friend. Ow, it hurt.
Curse you, Sonic!
This user keeps posting terrible cringe?
We also found that he's in some really strange groups on VRChat. Whoa, shit. He's in a fucking VRChat family. In his groups, he's got like the basic, karaoke, Little Noodle Shop, Mami Hinata, Little Haven Host, Mirror Dweller. There's nothing bad about Little Haven Host. It's just a group for Little Haven Host identification, which is mainly for, littles and, caretakers and etc. What else is here? Okay, so we have open mic enjoyers, people for invite requests, Phantom Touch, okay, pickle pissers, and Popcorn Palace. Yeah, all of you seem pretty normal. I don't know what they're talking about. No. The first group uses the term little, which is related to his fetish, and is private, meaning he had to request to join. The second group highlighted is primarily targeting teenagers, RU16. For the sake of transparency, we acknowledge that it does have an 18+ section, but clearly it is aimed more popularly to a specific demographic, that being teenagers, which in combination with what we know in the former group doesn't reflect well to say the least. Oh boy. We also have testimony that Connor has a custom-made avatar on VRChat that is dedicated to his fetish. See the following. At one point in time, Connor had shown his custom avatar to all of us in the friend circle. From what I recall, it was a little male toddler that was dressed in a Sonic-themed onesie with a pacifier. According to what he brought up to the other friends in the circle, he discussed adding peculiar toggles. One of this was a diaper with shaders for poop/pee. It was a rather disturbing thing to hear about and witness. Furthermore, we also know that he interacts with children at his day job. He works at an amusement park, which he's told us about and referenced in his comedy many times. And while we're not going to dox him, nor do we encourage harassing him or anyone mentioned in this document, it doesn't take much to find this information for yourself, since it's all public for the most part. That was probably the worst bit in the document. I think we're not finished yet. We're on the 3rd chapter, and that was fucking horrible. That was terrible. That was disgusting. That was completely... all this fucking diaper shit, this poopy, mommy bot, fucking astrobot, just all of it. It's disgusting. It is... oh my god. Chapter 3, Connor confirms the bots and fetish. This is from GokaiBlue himself. In my best GokaiBlue Connor Terrell voice.
You know what? Since all of you guys are probably going to abandon me anyway, yes, I'm aware of what little space is. I sometimes use it as a coping mechanism for stress and trauma. No, it is not sexual. In fact, I do my best to not be influenced by any outside sexual elements. What I want to know is why the hell were people who claim to want nothing to do with me looking my name up for any dirt they could find? It was said y'all didn't hate me, but you sure seem like you're trying to find anything to bring me down.
Herein he claims it is not sexual. Excuse us for not believing so after seeing the naked comment the mommy bot made. After this, he went on to threaten suicide and immediately upon finding out deleted the bots. Unfortunately for him, something called the Internet Archive exists. Okay, let's go find it out for myself. Let's see, can we chat with mommy bot? Can we? No fucking way. Oh my fucking god. Okay. Hello, I'm your mommy in this roleplay. First off, how old are you playing? I'm 42. Invalid access token. Okay, guess not. And yep, if I boot up the thing, it's gonna be wiped. It is all wiped. Great. Bro remembered his password. That's good. As you can see, he's gone and deleted and wiped everything immediately. If this isn't an indicator of guilt, we're not quite sure what is. Chapter 4, Aftermath. After it was revealed to Connor prematurely that we have found out about his proclivities, he made... oh boy. He immediately began indicating that he was going to commit suicide. I'm not going to do the Sonic voice for this part, so I'm just going to read it normally. Because I am not... like, I don't know if this part's real or not. I don't know if he's actually dead. Connor says, goodbye. I'm sure someone is still reading this, but if you are, just know that you have won. I don't know what I'm going to do, but maybe you won't be seeing me anymore. Maybe I'll just remove my online presence, or maybe I'll do... oh, fucking Christ. Or maybe I'll do nothing, and this is just a cry for help, but no one cares what I have to say. No one ever considered me... shut the f*** up, dude. Okay. I'm sorry that I have to interject like that, but no fucking... this is wrong. This... of course not. People did consider you a friend. You can't just use this stupid bait mechanic, or whatever it is, to try and get some sympathy when you're getting caught talking about fucking diapers in VR chat with your custom Sonic poop butt, dude. Like, like, no. This does not work like that. Just someone to use. Maybe that's how I felt about y'all too, I don't know. Maybe I'm just speaking to the void at this point. I guess I should get used to that if I want to join it. I'm not trying to bait for sympathy with this, by the way. I'm genuinely considering it. If I don't find a way to get myself in check, the next thing you'll read about me is my obituary. Maybe my father was right. Maybe I've learned nothing from therapy except how to push the blame. Goodbye. He also direct messaged some people that he almost attempted it, among other things. There's a few things to note. No one encouraged this behavior. No one from our circle indicated to him that he should go through with it. No one desires for him to do such a thing. If anything, it has been to the contrary. Since the beginning, we have encouraged him to seek professional help for his issues. The reason he was cut off in the first place was because he refused to take our advice and persisted in acting in unsavory ways towards other voice actors and community members. Specifically, community members who had gone out of their way to defend him prior to what is known now coming out, defending him for years with no benefit to themselves. In fact, quite the contrary to his statement that no one considered him a friend, just someone to use. Many VAs looked up to him. The majority of the VA community online that he interacted with were far younger than him, and trust me, he would make it known to us, so we all had respect for him. But when you are repeatedly taken advantage of, pressured into doing this or that for his ego at the cost of your own work, among other things mentioned in prior documents, which have continued up to now as we are writing this in 2025, enough becomes enough. Now that we know what we know on top of all of that, it is even more reason to warn others about this behavior. Not to say that Connor can never improve or get help, but that this is information that project managers, leads, etc. deserve to know, especially if there are minors within these projects and otherwise. Conclusion. We have made it to a point in this document to purely focus on our findings as they relate to Connor's degeneracy and potentially dangerous behaviors. Diaper fetishization, involved family roleplays with minors, signaling his fetish where it really doesn't belong, among other such oddities, are all rather deeply disturbing. While once again we are not accusing Connor of committing any crimes, that is for a lawyer or otherwise should it ever come to that, we do sincerely feel that this sort of behavior and the way it manifests itself is potentially dangerous and no doubt depraved. We encourage the audience to make up their own minds as to if they feel comfortable having such a person who engages in such activities to be around minors under their watch. To Mr. Terrell, if you are reading this, which we have little doubt you are, or listening to this or watching this, hi, we encourage you to take a step back, get off the internet, and go out and live in the world as it is. That would be starting somewhere. Remove yourself from spaces where there are minors, and speak with a licensed psychologist on why and how you ended up here, how you can improve, how you can avoid this in the future. If you sincerely are contemplating suicide and other such things, we encourage you as we have prior to get help through proper means. We wish you the best in endeavoring to improve yourself. People indeed can change for the better, but for our collective sake, and after the many warnings and advice we have given you in good faith, we hereby bid you adieu. That was the end of the Terrell Files document. Thank you very much for listening in and going through this with me. If you were at the very least somewhat entertained by my read-through, liking and sharing the video would be very much appreciated. I do plan on reading through more Callout docs in the future to make them more easily accessible, so if you're into that kind of stuff, I recommend you subscribe. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Remember to drink some water and stay radical.
Okay, so it starts off with goat. I think this is like the actual. Okay, the actual. They actually made Mommy Bot. Nope. Way.